Hey everybody, it's Lord Magicus. Alright, time to play more Merfolk in Modern. So, the SCG Philadelphia team event is coming up next weekend, so I need to get a little bit more practice with Modern in, and I'm thinking about playing a list like this for my portion, because I'm going to be our Modern player, so figured this would be a good opportunity to test it out on here. Um, unfortunately, I had to buy a bunch of cards on MTGO to be able to do this, but people have asked for this, so you know what? I just want you to know. I, I do this for you guys. All right. So we're splashing red in this deck, and the red cards that we're going to play are Lightning Bolt and the Royal Scions. You could also play potentially Blood Moon in the sideboard, but right now I'm interested to see how this does without it. And so there's a few different interesting things going on here. First of all, Lightning Bolt is going to be our one-drop that replaces Benthic Biomancer here. This is actually a card that we're very interested in playing in turn 1 against a lot of decks where, like the Humans player plays like Champion of the Parish. We want to bolt that almost definitely because that gets out of hand very quickly, or, if somebody plays like Noble Hierarch or like Glistener Elf or something like that, you definitely want to Lightning Bolt in turn 1. Otherwise, yeah, I don't think we need to worry about having too many one-drops because we're also going to play Fairy Conclave in this deck, so we have a few extra things to do on the first turn if we don't necessarily want to do this right away. There's 22 lands in this deck, and we need 22 lands to support playing Cryptic Command at a reasonable time. So we're going to play 3 Conclaves and 3 Mutavaults. I don't want to play all 4 Mutavaults because we can only use 1 Muta to help cast this Cryptic, so I think 3 is a better number for this, and we'll go split the difference with Conclave on that. Instead of the Waterlogged Groves, we obviously have to play Fiery Islet, so we have more red sources, 2 fetches, and then a play set of these Spire Bluff Canals, and then we have our 4 islands to search and 2 steam vents to search, so that's what our mana base is going to look like. Our other threat, we don't have Oko anymore, but however, we do have another Planeswalker that's kind of interesting, and that is the Royal Scions. I haven't played with this card at all yet, but I've seen some people have played it and done well with it, and I'm interested to try it. Royal Scions has the similar thing to Oko, where it gets up to 6 loyalty the turn that you play it, so it's very hard to kill. It has the ability to loot, so we draw and discard. Kind of replaces the functionality of Benthic Biomancer a little bit, so we're not going to draw like Dead Aether Vials in the late game and not be able to do anything with them. So it helps smooth out our draws a little bit, or if we need to get that 4th land for Cryptic, it can help us find it. Its second ability is actually very important though. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike and trample until end of turn. So you imagine we go like turn 2, play Silvergill Adept, opponent plays like a 3/4 Tarmogoyf, and then we play Royal Scions, and guess what? We're going to make the Silvergill Adept a 4/1 with first strike and trample, so Tarmogoyf is not going to block this thing. There's a lot of cards that are just not going to be able to deal with it. All of the creatures just on their own will be at least 4, maybe even 5 power, and then when you start adding Lords on top of it, it gets insane. So this makes any creature we play a very powerful threat. And you can't chump block, or you can't try to trade with it in combat. Like, you're basically only going to be chump blocking these things. So, hoping that this helps us push through. And it even makes it reasonable against a deck like Blue-White Control. We can attack with Master of the Pearl Trident with impunity, because Celestial Colonnade can't block it, and neither can Snapcaster Mage. Or if they do, they're just going to die. It's like, so they have terrible options for blocking these things when Royal Scions is on the board. And its ultimate, if we ever get to that point, just totally refills our hand and just deals a bunch of damage to something. So this is definitely an interesting option. But yeah, this +1 effectively is just, pushing through damage every single turn in a way that it's almost like having Island Walk, but at the same time it also is, giving a +2 damage bonus. So that's nice. And it keeps ticking up to threaten to get to that ultimate too. So we might get to a point where it's we draw 4 cards. Maybe we may have 11 cards in hand and just like deal 11 damage to something. So Or even if you just have no cards in hand and do this, draw 4 and deal 4 damage is still really significant. So I think, yeah, this card definitely has potential. Like I said, if we're flooding out, then, you know, it helps us mitigate that flood a little bit better. It helps us find what we need. So I think this card will be interesting to try in this deck. And then, because we're playing like bolts and we have Cryptic in here, I'm going to try playing Brindborn Cutthroat here. This is going to help us play this control role of the deck a little bit more, where now we can use Vial to put in things like Silvergill or the Lords on their turn, but you know, anything that we cast like a Bolt or a Cryptic or Force or Trickster or Brazen Borrower, it's just going to make this thing bigger. So I think this is a good opportunity to test this card out. Like, it helps us hold up mana better, so that way if we're passing to our opponent with 4 mana open, they don't necessarily know if we have a counterspell or not, because we could just be threatening to play like Brindborn Cutthroat and Merfolk Trickster, for instance. So that's, and yeah, you know, this thing gets bigger, this taps things down, and then we have a really big counterattack out of nowhere that our opponent wasn't expecting, so that's nice. Yeah, Brazen Borrower synergizes with this Cutthroat very well because you can use Petty Theft to bounce stuff on their turn to, you know, trigger this, and then even when you flash this in their end step, it also triggers this again. So yeah, Cutthroat gets 2 triggers off of Borrower, which is nice. So not everything in our deck is at flash speed, but enough of it is that I think we can make use of this card. So this is a style of gameplay that's going to be a little bit different from what we normally do with Merfolk. Because I'm playing some Cryptics in here, we don't really need the main deck Spreading Seas for this, because one, they don't want to block because of the Scions anyway. So Scions is already functionally like Spreading Seas and makes our creatures things that our opponent does not want to be blocking in the first place. But two, Cryptic's ability to tap down all their creatures means that we don't need Seas to push through our damage. So we have enough ways to push through damage here that I'm only going to play 2 Force of Negations alongside the 3 Cryptic. So we still have some main deck counter magic here. Force is just an ever-present threat to, like, anytime that, you know, opponent's gonna, or if we tap out, like, they still have to respect this, and the other 2 are in the sideboard. So if we're going up against like Blue-White Control or Tron or something, we can still tap out and have counter magic up. So speaking of Tron, I am going to play 2 Cs in the sideboard. I wanted to have some cards that I could bring in against like Tron and Jund. So C's kind of does that. We can bring this in against both of those decks. It's not something that I really want or think that is super necessary, but again, not against most of the decks, but I'm fine sideboarding in 2 of them just because if we can bring in Force and C's against Tron, and that should slow them down a little bit. Also, we have Damping Spear to bring in against Tron, which is nice. Against Tron, I think we probably want to take Scions and Bolts out, but we definitely want like these 6 cards. So maybe we might bring in Ashiok against them too. It's possible because this like shuts down all of their ability to search through their deck for stuff. But yeah, that's more. We want Ashiok more for the Primeval Titan decks. Anything where our opponent needs to search their deck in order to win, we do not want them to be doing that. So Ashiok is going to help us turn off Primeval Titan and just make it into a big dummy that doesn't do anything. And this is a card we can also bring in against Dredge, and we can bring it in against Neoform, because Neoform is a deck where if you play Ashiok, they just lose. They can't actually remove it with anything, and they're dead. It turns off their ability to cast Eldritch Evolution and Neoform into Gristlebrand. So so for Dredge, we have 2 Relics, 2 Cages, and 2 Ashioks. I think that's fine enough. I definitely wanted to I don't want to go all in on Cage because they still have you don't want to leave them with a graveyard because eventually they can still dredge stuff like Creeping Chill into it, and having relics to exile stuff helps. Also, at some point they might dredge into Shenanigans and blow up the Grafdigger's Cage, so you really don't want to leave them with a graveyard if you have the option. So bringing in Hate that actually removes their graveyard alongside this, I think, is a little bit better of a plan. So let's see what else here. Against, like I said, Jund, we want to bring in Relic and probably Spreading Seas there. Just they draw cards and also give us Island Walk and turn off some of their graveyard stuff for like Tarmogoyf and Scavenging Ooze. I think that's fine. It also hurts Renin 6 a little bit, which is fine. Yeah, Damping Sphere. Yeah, we want this probably against like Tron and Amulet Titan. Any of the big mana decks, this is going to shut them down. Yep. Just it's not going to win the game by itself, but it will slow them down enough that we should be able to race them. Yeah, like I said, Ashiok, you want this against Amulet, and also Valakut. Valakut has a very hard time winning through this. They have to be able to attack this thing or bolt it out of the game in order to have a chance. Their Primeval Titan and their Escape Shift do not do anything in regards, and they can't even do stuff like secure a Tribe Scout or Farseek or anything like that. So they can still get there by playing one land a turn, but this will significantly slow them down and turns off like their ability to combo finish. So if you can protect Ashiok, then you have very good chances against their deck. And then Chalice, yeah, we have this to bring in against like Infect and Mono Red Prowess. Just anything that has like a ton of 1-drops in it, we want to slow them down with this. So I think this is fine, and you can even bring this in against like the Neoform deck. If you put it on 0, it turns off Summoner's Pact. So I think we have a pretty well balanced sideboard here. I like this. So lots of 2-ofs here, and I think our main deck is. I think it's pretty well configured. We have stuff like Cryptic Enforce to deal with like the bigger, like the spell-based decks, you know, or like the ones that, you know, with the control decks or things like that. We also have Bolt to deal with like all the little aggro decks. So like Bolt is a huge card against stuff like Vizier combo. Being able to kill off like the Devoted Druid, but before they resolve the Vizier is helpful. You know, buys you tons of time. So, and again, this card also fixes like, you know, tribal matchups. Like if you get matched up against humans, Bolt is a huge factor in that match. So I think and then Scions, like I said, this will fix like our mid-range plan a little bit too. So we have a pretty well balanced approach to this. So I'm interested to try this. I think this is going to be pretty good, but let's go give it a try and see how it does. Alright, oh wow, I talked for 12 minutes this time. Modern League. Yeah, you can see my deck name for this, Seared Salmon. Alright, let's play. So, I think if this does reasonably well here, then I'll probably play it this weekend. I mean, it's possible that maybe just things are not going to work and this will totally bomb, but I feel like we have pretty good chances. Like, I don't feel like there's very many decks where there's absolutely nothing that we can do or that we're totally helpless or anything like that. Oh, turn that down. Yeah, it's loud in my ear. Well, we are on the play against Berserker Bob. Yeah, this is fine. We can go Conclave and then next turn play Brineborn and then. All right, I think this is a good keep. And we have a bunch of things to keep flashing in to make these bigger too. So if we draw another land, then so what? Turn 2, turn 3 we play this. Turn 4 we can play like Trickster and Master. We can cast basically anything we draw to, which is nice. Pass. So what are we up against? Tell me. Looks like maybe Burn. Interesting, so maybe not. Islet's fine. We can use it to draw a card later if we need. So we'll just pass. Probably on their end step we'll flash in a Cutthroat. They might think that we're actually a Delver deck, because Cutthroat is a card that deck sometimes plays. especially if they see like Fiery Islet. Oh, interesting. Okay. So Steam Vent. So maybe this like Jeskai. This could be Storm too. That's possible. If it's Storm, then that's going to make things a little bit harder. They might be considering, do you have like Force of Negation or something, or maybe like a counterspell of some kind? Alright, let's run one of these out. Good. I'll play the Delta, and then the end step will just fetch out a Steam Vents. Get in for 2. Manamorphose, okay. Sure. You gonna like bolt or something? Okay, so maybe this is prowess? No, this has to be storm, like. So why are you adding 2 mana here? You just needed to dig for a card? A braid. Yeah, okay. What the hell is playing Manamorphose and a braid in it? That's... I'm not sure. A braid in the main deck feels kind of weird, so... Like, this is usually a storm card, but this is not usually a main deck storm card as far as I know. I'm gonna remand it. Okay, so I feel like this has to be storm. Well, let's fetch now. Get the Steam Vents tapped. Interesting that they wait until I untap to do this. They should probably do it at the same. So, a Jeskai deck. I have no idea what's going on. Silence. I can just flash this in. So this has to be some kind of combo deck. I'm so confused what the hell they're doing. Could this be like an Underworld Breach deck of some kind? Are you gonna cast like Gifts Ungiven? Polymorph. Oh, fuck. Alright, now, okay, I see. This is... They're gonna try to flip this into like Emrakul or something. So I think what we really want to do is try to draw a... we want to try to draw Force of Negation. Oh, okay, this is going to resolve. So, Indomitable Creativity. Yeah, okay, I got it. So, they're going for Emrakul. Alright. But we still have Trickster to, like, tap it down, maybe, and we're not totally screwed yet. So I think here we're going to pay this. Well, we have to play a Lord right now. Let's do this and hope that they don't have another counterspell. It looks like maybe they have something. Okay, abrading that is not the worst thing. You still have draws then. So okay, so we got matched up against a really janky polymorph deck. So I think we're just gonna bring in like Force of Negation and we'll be fine in this match for the most part. Actually, we might even bring in Chalice. They have a lot of one-drop spells, I think. Or you know what? Ashiok is also potentially an option because okay. That's not good. But you can't bounce the Trickster though, right? Because if you bounce this, you die. I don't know. I think we have some choices. Farseek. Oh, yeah, okay, that you have to do that. So here's the problem. Because they play Teferi, we can't actually use the Cryptic to do anything here. So if I play Lord... So yeah, now the question is, can I erase this? We're not technically dead yet. So I can play the Lord here and then play Brindborn Cutthroat, and let's see. So he takes 3, goes to 9. So we have to attack 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we actually might just be dead though. All right, yeah, we're dead. Like we can't get out from underneath this thing. Fuck you, Teferi. What a mistake of a magic card. Because I think if you didn't play Teferi, like we actually just can win that game by tapping Emrakul another time. All right. Force of Negation, I need this card. Lightning Bolt seems really bad against this deck because they don't really do much. What else? Yeah, I guess just Grafdigger's Cage, like they actually have to abrade that or they die. Or the other stuff doesn't do anything. This probably isn't a Royal Scions matchup. I think Chalice is fine. So the question is, do we play Chalice or do we play Ashiok? This turns off like Silence. This turns off their ability to search out the Dwarven Mine. I mean, we could also counter their spell by just bolting their creature, can't we? So maybe you keep in 2 of these. Alright, we'll do it like this. I think this is a match we should actually have a pretty good chance against. I definitely want to be on the play, but... Fuck. This has, like, no interaction for their deck, but it has, like, tons of lords. I guess I'm gonna keep it. We're just gonna play lords every turn until they're dead. Alright. No, I guess Ashiok could have turned off his fetches. Maybe that was relevant. So I'm assuming they have like a lightning bolt. Okay, well, let's make them bolt the Lord. Okay, obviously no lightning bolt, so that's interesting. If we draw another lands, like they're in a lot of trouble. Maybe Anger of the Gods. If they abrade, that's also okay. You're just cycling to find something. It looks like Teferi. Playing Teferi doesn't really do anything though, because it's just going to die. So I can attack Teferi with both of these things. I can actually attack him and put him to 7. That might just be better, to be honest. The other option is I can attack with Conclave and Lord against the Teferi and kill it. We don't have any interaction though, so like the problem is that if he goes and puts an Emrakul into play next turn, I don't know what's worse. I could just leave him with Teferi. It doesn't really matter that much. I'm just kind of worried. I want to play like a Lord or something so I can get out of anger range. That's the big thing. So if I play a Lord and I attack him to 7, like even if he puts an Emrakul into place, that's not actually going to save him. So I think that's what we just do. We'll play the Aether Vial, just in case the game goes long enough that it matters. But right now, like, a Lightning Bolt, like, I guess he could bounce a Lord and bolt one, but then he's not comboing this turn, and then we're still, like, I think, yeah, we still have the upper hand then. Just putting Emrakul into play does not win the game for him right now, so that's the problem. Even if he bounces a Lord of Atlantis, yeah, it doesn't actually, it's not going to do it. So we can just replay Lord. Interesting. So what happens if I play Lord of Atlantis here? I could actually crack the Fiery Islet to draw a card and then play Spire Bluff. If I play the Lord first, I can bolt a Lord, but then we can still kill Teferi. Or we could just attack Teferi right now. Now, if he bolts it, he can't actually do his combo, I think, right? No, he might still be able to. I think the right thing to do is play a Lord, attack Teferi, attack him. We're still not dead. So yeah, that's the question. Can we play around him having a bolt? I mean, we could just play a Lord and try to kill him, so that's also an option. I think that's what I'm going to go with here. Let's see what he does. Okay, Remand is fine. this turns off his ability to use the fetch land, so... Okay. So we still actually have lethal next turn. Again, putting Emrakul in play doesn't actually do anything. Because we can Vial a Lord back in and attack with the Fairy Conclave. In fact, we can Vial a Lord and play another Lord. We can play... Yeah, I think we have pretty good odds here. So if they want to put Emrakul in play, it's not going to do anything. So I think what do we do is we play a Lord, and then play another Lord, and then just attack. And if they put an Emrakul into play, it like doesn't actually matter, because they'd still die. And then if they like don't somehow, if they have like Bolt and then they do this, we still have Trickster in their turn. I think they know that we have this one. Interesting. So I guess here, if they put Emrakul in play, then that doesn't actually do it. So we're just going to activate Vial and see what happens. Okay, so now the Bolt doesn't kill it. Okay, sure. So they still don't have it. Alright, we're not dying this turn. You can polymorph it, it doesn't do anything. Sure. Okay, but what does that do? You die. It doesn't have haste. Okay, that still doesn't do anything. Okay, so yeah, the Lord Heavy Draw did get there, just barely. Alright. There were still chances that like things could go wrong. I guess maybe Ashiok makes sense because it does turn off their fetches. Alright, we'll do it like that. It'll make it harder for them to be able to crack a fetch and get the Dwarven Mine when they need it. Because that seems to be the only way that it can have creatures right now. This is a very risky hand. Get a Steam Vents and just hope for the best. I'm just going to keep 7 cards. We don't have a Force. But I mean, the Vial is very strong, and we have 2 Tricksters, so we can potentially find something. Alright, I'll try this. I'll get the Steam Vents in turn 1, and then play the Vial. I'm guessing that's for like Ancient Grudge maybe. Okay, well that's something else that we can cast off of the Mutavault, so... Okay, so are you going to kill this thing? Look, they might just kill whatever creature we play. You may be worried about Curse Catcher, actually. Oh, okay, that's... I don't actually know if I want to play that, because if he plays Teferi... Well, no, he can't play Teferi next turn, so... No, but there is a chance we might want to attack with this, so I think I am going to play the Mutavault, and then next turn I'll play the Spire Bluff. I will cast, and I will show you another Silvergill Adept. Interesting that he doesn't have any blue mana right now. Okay. We need to do something quickly, though, because we're getting to a point where things can start to go south. So, if he can't get a mine yet, I guess I just attack with this thing, and then I can just deploy whatever I want on end step. Having the Trickster available will help keep Emrakul off our backs for a little while. So Sacred Foundry, so it looks like no Teferi in hand. I feel like, well, maybe he has a Steam Vents or another fetch, so that could make sense. And I feel like if he did, they would have played that first, right? Teferi in turn 3 is usually where you want to be. Okay, you just gonna go for this now? Looks like it. Okay, well let's put Silvergill Adept into play first. Because if we draw like a Force, or if we draw like a Bolt or something, then we would want to kill this, but no. No. Let's see. If I attack, he can block and... You know what? I did that wrong. I should not have played that this turn, because if I was going to... should have played the Mutavault. Because here I could actually attack him for 6, and like even if he blocks one of them, that's not actually the problem. It puts him to 8, but this still kills him next turn. Yeah, so right now he's facing lethal. And we still have another Trickster to do this again next turn. And even if he attacks us once, we're actually not dead yet. Because we have enough permanents in the board that we can still sack a bunch of stuff and then not die. So now our opponent has to make some very tough choices. So second main, what do you got? It's got to be something, because, like, okay. Manamorphos, draw a card. My guess is Teferi. Four mana. Polymorph. What? Why? Oh, are you just trying to have a blocker? Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, well then you still lose, because we can just tap it down and you die. Okay, no, that makes sense. Our opponent, like, made a correct choice there. Because now they can block. Or at least they don't know that they can't block, so. But let's just do this now. Avoid any silly pact shenanigans. Alright, can you see the writing on the wall yet? Okay, we got there. We did not cast a single counterspell that entire match. The fuck? We have 7 counterspells in our 75, and we didn't play a single one, I think, to win that match. And that was, like, a match where Force of Negation would have been very, very good. So, alright, well, yeah, we got there. I don't know if the Izzet list was necessarily the right one, but I think being able to just, like, hold up a bunch of flash speed stuff does help a little bit against it. Trickster is obviously very good against Demercall decks. Like, if it's Breach or, like, Polymorph or anything like that. Trickster is just great against Demercall, so. Well, we are on the play, and this is Big JC00, huh? Okay. This is going to be a little awkward, but I think we're going to keep this. We're going to fetch for Steam Vents and play Aether Vial. I want to get this Vial on 2 as quickly as possible so we can start double spelling. Alright. Pass. Alright, there's nothing you can do. Well, actually, no, there's nothing they can do in this turn that I care about. Secure Tribe Scout, so this is Amulet. Yes. Pass. Well, if this is Amulet, we're fucked, because, like, we don't have a lot of good stuff to, like, deal with this right now. There's no way that Cryptic's going to be online. Yeah, we don't have, like, a lot of Lords to push through damage or anything, so this is not good. We might just be deploying Silvergills this turn. I'm going to play Silvergill now, because if I draw a land drop, I probably want to play Royal Scions. That's actually pretty good. So I still want to draw more lands, because I really want to be able to curve out. Beautiful. Pass. The next turn, I think we'll play Scions and try to loot. Bojuka Bog, yeah, okay, that's meaningless. This Brineborn Cutthroat is definitely going to be force food. Sure, once upon a time, go for it. They don't have an amulet yet, so Field of the Dead is sort of a problem. Yeah. Okay. We do have to force Amulet, I think. Okay, sure, once upon a time. Amulet's probably the only thing that we're interested in forcing right now. They don't have any islands in play, so But they do have Simic Growth Chamber, so... no. Well, that will help, maybe? So the other option is we can actually start attacking them with this thing, and that might be the play. Because we can't counter what they're going to do next turn, but I do think that giving one of these Silver Gills +2/+0 trample and first strike is the way to push through this. Field of the Dead is pretty bad against like Royal Scions. Like, or I don't know if they can go wide enough to kill it, but this should let us like at least attempt to get in there. I guess do I? Yeah, that's fine. If they want to trade Secure Tribe Scout with this thing, that's cool. I didn't think that they would. Okay, and Cryptic in hand is great because now if we can draw another land, then Cryptic can counter, or even just tap down their team so we can get an Alpha Strike in. Yep. So they can bounce like Gemstone Mine back. So that right now they can start getting field online. Yeah, I can't stop prime time. That's going to be a problem. We're going to have a bunch of zombies. The best thing I can do is just put as much pressure into play as I can, try to find Cryptic, tap them down, and then get a big attack in. They can just make like a million zombies, though. The problem is they have the lands in their hand. They can just keep like repeatedly bouncing them. So what do I do here? I guess we need Brineborn Cutthroat right now. Okay, well that's helpful. So what do we do here? Can try to exchange this Cutthroat for another card, or maybe even this Force. I don't think we can reasonably attack right now, so we probably have to do this. The Fairy Conclave is not going to be terribly helpful. I'm not really interested in attacking right now. Yeah, they're just going to make a ton of zombies. Bounce the Growth Chamber back to their hand, or even the Garrison, that's fine. They returned the Gemstone Mine, that's weird. I would think they'd want to keep their value engine alive. So here we're going to play Brineborn Cutthroat, and then we're going to Cryptic and tap them out. So we're going to do this first. Tap all creatures my opponents control. That's neat. So they actually put all the different modes I can choose right now. There's nothing I really want to bounce, so I have 2 cards in hand. So this pumps up these 2 dummies. I'm assuming they were not expecting Cryptic Command. So no attacks. Oh, they didn't put anything into play, so that's good. Unless they have another Primeval Titan, that would suck. Oh, come on! Why? That's not fair. How do you just naturally have all of this? That's bullshit. Alright, well, we need, like, another Cryptic Command, I think. So that's 6, 10. Oh, we don't have quite enough. Ah, come on. Alright, okay, let's think about our outs here. We can attack with the Conclave. What if we draw another Cryptic? Does that work? I don't think we can attack through this thing. They're at 16. If we attack with everything right now... Okay, so let's pretend... Alright, so I think the only option is we have to draw and discard. Because if we don't find a Cryptic, then it doesn't matter. Okay, so... Jeez. Okay. I can Merfolk Trickster and tap down one thing and bolt their face, but that doesn't actually do anything. Fairy Conclave can attack in the air. If I find Cryptic off of the islet, it doesn't matter. So I'm at 17. They have way too much in play. Alright, there's 8. No, I think we're dead. So the question is, if I attack in the air with the Conclave, they can't block it, but we have Bolt and Trickster up to try to survive. I think we have to tap down one of these things, and then maybe bolt one of these, and I don't know, maybe we can somehow get there. Because these can then chump block 2 of these things, so... I guess that's how it's gonna be. And... I guess Mutavault, right? I don't think this matters. Oh god, okay, so they're just gonna transmute for like Walking Ballista anyway. Pact of Negation, neat. Okay, so this Lightning Bolt is definitely not going to resolve. Yeah, they're going to get more zombies. The important thing is, though, we can still cast the Bolt, and even if they packed it, it still gives us the triggers so the Brineborns can live. So that's 20 to 24. Alright. So we have to try to kill one of these zombies. And then the question is, can we survive enough damage here? Alright, well, let's try. Okay, you block, you block. So, it's 6 of them. Okay, that's the best we can do. Alright, I think we're dead. Yeah, whatever. This deck is dumb. Alright, let's sideboard in some stuff. Ashiok is good. Damping Spear is good. Lightning Bolt is not actually very good against them, so let's take that out. I don't think Force of Negation is actually very good against them. I think Chalice is probably better than Force, because it turns off Summoner's Pact. I have to side out one more thing. This might actually be a Royal Scions match. Brineborn seemed like it was actually pretty reasonable. There's just not really many non-creature spells that I want to, like, force. I guess they could have, like, engineered explosives. That would suck. But I don't know how much we can really, like, do about or what we can really do about it. If they play explosives, like, they're just going to kill us anyway. Like, what do we want to cut that force is going to be better than? I don't know. So we're already at 23 creatures, and I think we still have to cut one probably. So, cut through. I think we cut a Silvergill Adept. Yeah, I'm not excited about this matchup at all. I mean, Borrower is also reasonable, but this thing flies over Field of the Dead, so... You know, maybe Force is necessary for Amulet. That's possible. Fuck, I can't keep this. I only have one land. What do we do here? Like, I guess we're keeping this and we're putting Cryptic on the bottom and just praying that we draw another land. We mulled to 5, so that's some good news. You know, if we draw another land, there's a chance we might play this on 1. I don't think we need to play it just yet. Yeah, once upon a time, of course. Castle, yep. Come on, land. Okay, well that is a land. I am going to play this on 0, I think. Yeah. Let's turn off their packs. And we'll play Damping Sphere next turn and hope that that's enough to slow them down. Okay. Yeah. Sure. This card is also ridiculously dumb. So I only have access to 2 mana. And that thing doesn't make colored mana now. What do we do? I could just play, like, double Vial here. I don't have many good choices though. Let's 4 cards in hand. We know what at least one of them is, which isn't going to do anything. It just makes colorless. I don't know if the Vial's really important right now. I think maybe we just want a Flashing Cutthroat and start getting in damage. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. They didn't bother to play another land, so that's interesting. Could do this on their upkeep. They can put a land in with this. Right now, if I bounce that back to their hand, it doesn't really... Or a Trickstering it, I don't know if that does anything right now either. Alright, I'm going to do this now. I don't want them like doing anything too ridiculous with double amulets. Okay, you have 3 amulets. You have all the mana in the universe. Okay, I guess we're attacking. So upkeep, I could like bounce this to their hand. I don't think that's going to do anything though. Okay, well I guess they don't have anything to do with their mana, so I don't think them attacking really is a good idea. But if they do, I will absolutely block with the Cutthroat. Helpful. Do I attack with the Flyer? I don't think so. I think I just, again, attack with those 2. I can actually bounce this back to their hand and kill their Azusa. I think that makes sense. Oh, I can't actually do that because of Damping Sphere. Duh. No cards in the hand. Okay, interesting. Alright, well, we managed to get there in game 2, so that's good. It did not look like we were going to, though. Okay, so I don't know if this did anything or not, but it feels like it might have. Damping Sphere definitely felt like it helped. Maybe Royal Scions is not really the best choice here. Maybe I should have Lightning Bolts instead. I think I'm going to do it like that. This is actually kind of fine, I think. We can get Cutthroat out and we can just like keep bolting things and attacking them with it. And then we even have Mutavault up. I think this is actually okay. Because if they play like a scout, we can also just bolt that thing too and keep. So they mulligan to 6. All right. So we might have a chance. So Damping Sphere. Let's hope that it's going to help us again. All right. So what are you doing in turn 1? Once upon a time, that makes sense. If they play turn 1 scout, I am going to bolt it. Okay. So Amulet's going to come out. It's fine. So let's get our Aether Vial online. That will hopefully help if we can draw some more lands. Okay. If that's what they're doing, it's not a very fast start for them. Let's get our Sphere out. Yeah, so that only makes colorless mana now. They don't have green, so that's good. That means they can't really do anything. Unless they have like a Braid, maybe? Oh, Engineered Explosives on 1? Okay, sure! Be my guest. I don't need to do anything here. I'm just going to play Cutthroat in their end step if they don't do anything. That was a mistake. I think they should not have played that on 1. Okay, animate. I'll probably start unloading bolts at their face. So Damping Sphere seems to be doing something. This will increase our clock. Same plan. And they are dead next turn, so... I don't know what they kept, but it seems like this was an incredibly poor hand for them to keep, so... Beating Amulet Titan on the back of, hate cards, I guess. Damping Sphere seems like it was fine, but I don't know. I feel like opponent definitely struggled in the last... I think maybe they could have done something different in Game 2. I don't know. It's possible. They could have. They only had 1 green source, though, so it's hard to say. But the last game, that definitely didn't seem like a very good hand to keep. Alright, we are on the draw, and this is Edu Fonseca. Okay, sure. So far, this is proving to be a reasonable deck. I guess. We just play Steam Vents and Bolt something. That seems fine. So it'll be very good if we're up against a creature-based deck. Alright, Delta means probably not. Maybe Shadow. So if it is Shadow, we need to be careful. But they're definitely not going to peg us as being Merfolk because of Spire Bluff Canal. Let's see, maybe this is control of some kind. It could be Shadow or maybe blue-white control, possibly. It could maybe splash Esper. It could be splash black for Esper. Okay, now this is 100% Death Shadow. So these lightning bolts are going to be actually very critical. We want to save these until the end of the game. Unless they okay, so this is the Jund Shadow version? Tarmogoyf. So here's the thing. This is a very teachable moment. If you Lightning Bolt Tarmogoyf right now, it would not kill it. It would make it a 3/4, and then it would not die. So we are not going to be Lightning Bolting Tarmogoyf. We are going to play Lord of Atlantis instead. I assume they're going to remove it, but at some point we just have to give in to that. Hope that they pressure their own life total enough so we can get to a point where Brazen Borrower combined with these lightning bolts will be enough to take them out. Yeah. So this is the 4-color Shadow version, I believe. Which means usually they splash red in here as well for Temur Battle Rage. Yeah, we're not blocking this. Okay, you have another Tarmogoyf. That's not great. That actually is kind of great, though. I can attack into this Tarmogoyf pretty freely now. Yeah, he's not going to block this. He knows way better than that. So options here, we can actually Trickster a Tarmogoyf after it attacks and then block it. And if they push the Trickster, then maybe we can just Bolt it instead. We definitely want to cast Trickster first. I like this one better, so I'm going to... Or I think that this one's prettier, so I'm going to tap this one. Alright, so they can take whatever they want now, because, I mean, it doesn't matter what they take. The Trickster has Island Walk, which is nice, but if they don't take the Borrower, then we get to attack with both of these, so yeah, I think that's necessary here. We do have the option of bolting the Tarmogoyf, but I may want to just hold on to these and just use them on their face. Attacking is kind of risky for them right now. If they attack, we can deal 5 damage to them, and then kill them with lightning bolts. Being at 13 is not really that big a deal for us, so I don't think they want to attack. On the other hand, we would very much like to draw a Lord. So we can play Lord, attack with everything having Island Walk, and then have up 2 lightning bolts. Depends on whether they have another land or what other cards are in their hand, but if they don't have another land, then we're actually pretty favored to win, I think. So they'll be at 8, and then, yeah, we still have 2 bolts, so they're very close to dying. They won't be able to shock themselves, or they risk 2 bolts killing them. I mean, they also have to be careful now, because if they go to 8 right now, then we can attack with Trickster and then double bolt them. So I don't think attacks make sense here. So Stubborn Denial, if they have Stubborn Denial, then so be it. I think we just attack them for 3. They need Fatal Push plus Stubborn Denial. I think I probably should have shocked myself and played the Steam Vents first, though, because there are definitely reasons I might want to play 2 Lightning Bolts. So put them to 8. And if they fetch and shock, then they are still dying to 2 bolts. Yeah, if they try to Fatal Push this, I will force them negate it, and then probably shock myself. I don't know if I shock myself or not. Maybe. I go into 9. What if they they attack 10, 14? I think I'll be okay. They can't. They might only have 1 basic swamp in the deck too, and that could be a problem because if they fetch with the Verdant Catacombs, they're still putting themselves in super danger zone with the lightning bolts. So I think that's what they're debating now. It's is it safe to crack this and then play Fatal Push on this Trickster? I don't think so. And I think now I'm gonna play the Steam Vents and shock myself. Because now if they crack the fetch land... Okay, so they're going to 7. Okay. We do have Force of Negation up at the moment. They've got Overgrown Tomb, so I'm guessing that means they don't have Temur Battle Rage in hand. Okay, well you can't use that. You go to 6, you're dead. What I'm going to do is their end step, bolt them once, and then on my turn I will bolt them again. Because I need to hold this up in order to play through Stubborn Denial if I can. Attacking with one Tarmogoyf? That's fine. Not worried about that. Okay, so I believe what we want to do here now is attack with both these. Because they can only block one and then they're still dead to Lightning Bolt. Again, he still can't use the fetch land. Assassin's Trophy. So... ooh, this is getting tough. Okay, so I can either force this or play Brazen Borrower. If I play Brazen Borrower, he can Petty Theft that. No, actually, okay, so maybe what I want to do here is let this resolve first, because then I can pay 2 mana, bounce this thing, and then still have up Force. Okay, I think that's what makes sense. Yeah. Stubborn Denial, and I think I Force of Negate this, right? Because I don't think they can kill me with just this. No, they actually might be able to. If they can make the Tarmogoyf bigger. No, I think I still have to do this. I just have to hope that Tarmogoyf doesn't kill me. And I'm going to keep the Spire Bluff in hand in case he has, like, Liliana. Alright, so he's at 1. Okay, opponent, so can you Temur Battle Rage and kill me? If you have Collective Brutality and Battle Rage, that'll do it. So they had... alright, so Inquisition's going to take that. That's fine. The Borrower still represents a threat that can get there, though. However, there are now things off the top I can still draw. Yeah, you do have to attack. And we know you have a Tarmogoyf in hand. I need to draw either Cryptic Command... or I guess that's not the one I needed to draw. So I have to keep up the Trickster to block and hope that he doesn't have Battle Rage. Alright, well, they had enough stuff to push through this, and now we just have to hope that they ran out. Top decking lands was not what we needed. We drew like Spire Bluff and Steam Fence in the last like 2 turns, I think, so we needed literally like anything besides lands, I think would be enough to get there. But now if they attack, like, they have to have something to push through damage, because I'm going to block one of these and go to 1 and then kill them with the Borrower. Excuse me. That's as much as I can hope for at this point. So I guess now they have to look, is there a way they can kill the Borrower? I feel like if they had Temur Battle Rage, they would have just slammed it at this point. Maybe they're just concerned because they don't know what our last card is. It could be like another force. Yeah, that does it. Alright, we lose. Good job, opponent. Like, they top decked something that was not dead. So we were very close to winning that game, but unfortunately we flooded out and we just so close. We were like within one life. That's frustrating as hell. Alright, so we want Relic. Let's see what else. I think the Lightning Bolts are actually okay. I think the Cryptics are actually pretty good too. This is not really an Aether Vial matchup, and yeah, I don't want to give them artifacts to put in the graveyard, but at the same time, like, if I bring in Spreading Seas, like, no, I think I have to bring in Seas, though. That's just how it is. Like, this is our plan for these decks. We keep in 2 Force of Negations and then the 3 Cryptics. I don't really want to change much else. It's close. It was a very close game, but you know, it came down to like the last couple draws, and like our draws were very clearly worse than theirs. It's frustrating. We should have got there. We really should have, but the deck let us down. But it's like I said before, though. If the games that you're losing are because of like mana screw or mana flood, like that's just part of Magic. So that doesn't really say anything about you as a player or like you as the deck. That's just something that will happen no matter what deck it is that you play in any format. Like that's just the game will do that sometimes, and you just have to accept it. So make peace with the things that are beyond your control. I think we played as tight as we could, and we were looking for any opportunity to draw anything, and we just didn't get there. So whatever. I think that we have pretty good chances of beating this deck, though. Like, we have a lot of cards that are very strong. It's just we need to find them at the right time. And you saw, like, we knew that they had the Stubborn Denial the whole time, too. So, like, yeah, hard casting the Force is important. They found Inquisition into, like, Assassin's Trophy and just everything. Oh, fuck me. I don't know if this is actually a good hand against them, to be honest. Like, this is going to hurt us so much. I don't think this is keepable. This looks much better. I'm going to keep this, and I think I'm going to put Steam Vents in the bottom. Actually, I could put Islands in the bottom, because we want Islands in the deck in case they, like, Assassin's Trophy us. This is much better. We have 4 cards that we can cast, and they all synergize with this Brineborn. We'll keep this. Our first turn, I think we're going to play Steam Vent, so we'll put Island in the bottom. That way we have more stuff to search our deck for. I mean, they might Thoughtseize us, but if that's not... Or yeah, we can't really avoid that anyway, so... I think the Cutthroat is the thing I would take. There's an argument for Borrower too, though. The Cutthroat's just going to get really big and really scary, so they're going to have to use removal on it. I guess, okay, so maybe they're on a Tarmogoyf heavy hand. This always happens to me. We always, like... Okay, well, pass. So, the fact that they took Trickster makes me think that their hand has lots of Tarmogoyfs. That's what they're worried about right now. I want this in play. I guess they're going to take the other Trickster now and try to clear the way. We might even just be playing Brazen Borrower as a 3-1. Yeah. Here's an opportunity. They can use a Fatal Push if they have it. So, yeah, you know what? Her hand's just going to get ripped to shreds with discard spells all the time anyway, so. Fiery Islet or Steam Vents. I guess we're shocking ourselves in this. Oh. Did we just, like, pass the turn? What the fuck just happened? Turn 2. We just passed our entire turn. Fuck. God damn it. Alright, well, I guess this has to get bounced back. And we're hoping they don't have a fucking a stubborn denial. It is up. Like, we're screwed. Okay. No, we are totally, like, 100% dead now. I don't even want to do this at this point. Like, they've got Tarmogoyf down. It's big and scary. It's going to clock us, and we have no way of fighting it. Too. Like, 3 of the cards out of, like, the 7 in our deck that we need for this are just gone. Inquisition, Fatal Push, Stubborn Denial is not what we needed on a mulligan. And of course the Goyf too, because we have no way of dealing with it. Like, I'm not even sure what we can draw here that's going to make any sort of meaningful difference here. Oh god. Okay. Okay, well, let's kill off this one at least. Yeah, we have no choice. Like, now we have to bolt this one too, or we're gonna die. That's not helpful. And neither is that. We are just, like, insanely losing. This doesn't even do anything right now. There's no point in playing it because we're not going to use the abilities off of it, and they're just going to attack it, so. Yeah, we're fucked. Like, this is... Remember how I said we have, like, good chances? Like, not against this hand. And sometimes Shadow just has these kinds of hands, which suck. Alright. I guess our plan is to just play Cryptic and tap everything down for a turn. Draw a card and hope for the best. I probably should have done that in their upkeep. Okay, that still doesn't actually help at all. This thing is attacking us for 7. So we have to find a creature to block. And we are dead. So they can just fetch and shock, and then we're dead to that thing, so. Alright, well, we got obliterated by Shadow. That sucks. I don't know, like, that happens. Like, they just play a bunch of discard removal, and then big scary creatures, and then whatever. We were very, very close in the first game, and the deck let us down, but the second game, like, opponent was just all over that, like... Oh, Fortuna, why have thee forsaken me? So, that's fine. Move on. We are on the draw against Swiftspear. Alright, I guess... This hand is, like, close. I guess I'm going to keep it. Alright, what is Swiftspear going to do? Once upon a time. Why? Why? And fucking, this is against Tron, so, like, this is terrible. Once upon a time was a mistake. This card should not exist in any format. And of the core, they're just going to have Tron next turn, and there's nothing we can really do about it. I guess we just need to try to draw Force of Negation. This particular version of the deck is... Okay, well, you know what? Maybe there's a chance now. If they, like, play Karn or something, we can force it and try to come back. Okay. So... Yeah, I guess I have to counter this. Brineborn, because if they play Karn, I need to be able to bounce the bridge. Is that all they had? It was just like fucking Oblivion Stone? Because if that's it, like, maybe we're not in as bad of shape as we think. Okay, well, this is still not great. We need opponents to do nothing, because if they play like Ugin, we're dead. Oh, they totally have it. Okay, we die. No, we are not coming back against that thing. Fuck it. I'm just not willing to bother. They're going to exile all of this stuff. Yeah. You know what? No, that was a mistake, because I could have actually double bolted and killed that thing. I forgot about it. Okay, well, you know what? I am just so fucking tilted right now, like, from that last match, that I am just not even thinking straight at this point, and that's not helping me play well against this deck. Like, that was not a loss. They were going to eat our board, but we at least had a chance. We could have double bolted that thing and maybe done something. I mean, it still probably didn't matter, because I'm sure they had, like, more stuff than just that. But I mean, we shouldn't have given up at that point. So, do I? I mean, I guess this turns off like maps and Sylvan Scryings and Sanctum of Ugin. It might be worth it. Maybe not. No, that's too slow. I don't want to play that. I want to keep Cryptic, because Cryptic is actually pretty good against their deck. The only thing that sucks is, like, we don't have, like, Benthic Biomancer to put, like, the turn 4 kills on the table. Ugh. What am I doing? You have to focus. This is not helping. I don't take breaks in between any of these. You just when you watch me do these leagues, I'm just doing it from start to finish in like one take. So the correct thing to do would be after each match, like, you know, take a little bit of a break in between so that you can like recenter yourself and prepare for the next round. But like that, I don't have that kind of time. I'm sorry, I just don't. I just need to get this done. Alright. I would love to play first. Sure. I guess we're just hoping to draw into some interaction. We're going to get the silver kill out early to try to do that. Mold to 6, okay, that's some good news. Mold to 5. This is still a once upon a time deck, though, so like their mulligans don't actually mean that much. Because like if they mulligan 2 once upon a time, they're still looking at like 11 cards. It's insane. Yeah. Let's just hope they don't have it naturally this time. I'll show them, I guess, Brineborn Cutthroat. That's helpful. Well, I don't think we have a choice here. I think we have to Spreading Seas this thing, like, right now. Okay. So the question, do we put Lord into play now, or do we play Brineborn first? They can't play Ballista for more than one if they have it. So I think the correct thing to do is play Brineborn, because then next turn we attack for 6. We'll make up our extra point of damage next turn. The Seas was a pretty good draw. And we can play Damping Sphere next turn. Or is this mine? That's fine. They're not going to have Tron online this turn. We're going to play Damping Sphere. Sure. That's meaningless. Well, it's not meaningless, actually, because if they have, like, Nature's Claim, they'll be able to get a forest. We are never vialing in Borrower with this, so just forget about that. Let's put our Master into play. Get our Sphere in. And play Aether Vial, I guess. Like, we should have played Vial first. You know, I'm not even sure I want to play this Vial, to be honest. Like, there's not really a good reason to. Because they're not blowing this one up. Yeah, the Forest means that they're for sure going to blow up this Damping Sphere. But we're hoping that it's not going to matter. So right now we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in play. Oblivion Stone, okay. Oblivion Stone might even be too late. If they crack Oblivion Stone, that doesn't do anything. We still have Mutavault and Fairy Conclave. Okay, Forest, so this only destroys non-land permanents. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Okay, well, we managed to steal game 2. The Sphere definitely slowed them down. And Spreading Seas in the Blast Zone was very critical as well. So I want to change anything here. I don't think so. You could make an argument for Chalice of the Void. Like, playing that on 1 is not the worst. think I just have to run it back this way and hope for the best. Yeah, Damping Sphere and Spreading Seas are the MVPs, and if we find like Force of Negation, that keeps them off of a lot of important stuff too. This is not terrible. This is very, very slow though. I don't know what we're doing with this hand. Like, we're not pressuring to kill them at all. This Force and this Cryptic, they're keeping 7 cards. Like, I don't think this is good enough. I think we need to have like a much more aggro start. I think this is actually a little bit better. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put Cryptic on the bottom. Alright, Chromatic Sphere. That's sort of okay. I guess. So, I guess we want to play Islands. I don't think there's any reality in which we're attacking with Mutavault next turn. We can flash in Cutthroat. It looks like they just naturally have Tron. Like, they kept like 2 lands and like a Scrying. Sure, fuck it. You have Tron. There's not really anything we can do about it. It's like the one kind, like this match is going to be a little bit weaker for us. We could put Blood Moon in the sideboard and that would fix this a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. This is just going to be hard. Yeah, take it up. I guess we're just passing. Wait, did you get a forest? Okay, so they search for forest. That's interesting. So that means maybe like Ugin? Okay, you know what? This might actually work out, because if they play Ugin, they can eat like the Vile and the Brineborn Cutthroat. But then we can bounce it on their end step and then have Cryptic Command up. Yeah. That's actually fine. Okay, so no, this is not really that good of a start for them, to be honest. Okay, well, that's going to be a problem. Blast Zone sucks. I still think we need to Petty Theft. Do we, though? Do I do that right now? I want to hold up this Cryptic, and I guess if this can be on Vile for next turn. Alright, yeah, we're going to bounce it. Beautiful. Alright, so let's play... no, we're not casting it. We're going to use Aether Vial to put it into play. Get in damage this way. So how close are we to killing them? So this thing's, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're not far. So there's definitely an argument to just, like, let Wormcoil Engine resolve. They do have a land drop for this turn. So I do think I need to counter that and then... No, I don't want to bounce this, because they can just... They'll have the 6 mana then. They can tap it for 2 and then replay it and then have like another... So I think I just counter it and draw a card. Otherwise they can just... Yeah, if that resolves, they can just play the Blast Zone and crack it. So we're still really close to doing this. Okay, so Worm Coil Engine loses. I think that it does. Okay, well, Brazen Borrower definitely helps it lose. So let's see, we have 5, 6, 7, 10. I can attack him for 10. I don't really want to use... Well, okay, so if I do that, then I don't have the ability to cast this thing. If I use the Vial with the Trickster, then I can tap it, attack for 7. That puts them at 7. No, but I need them not to be able to block, or I need them not to be able to attack with it. So upkeep, I would definitely be doing that anyway. So I think here I do have to use Brazen Borrower to bounce it. Yeah, and then we're just gonna go for this. Okay, cool. So they gave up. Well, we beat Tron, so despite me just like throwing, like, I think I conceded a little early in the one game, but we still managed to beat Tron post-board, so that was nice. Yeah, fortunately, like, they had Tron, but they didn't really seem to have a whole lot of good things to do with it, so... Alright, Sphere definitely helped. That was a plus. Alright, so 3-1, not bad, not bad. We're on the play for the last one, and this guy is JD Urban 8592. Cool. Okay. Actually, this hand looks like it's not terribly bad. Well, okay, it's kind of clunky, I guess. We have Aether Vial, but not a whole lot to really do with it. Depending upon what kind of deck we're up against, like, this could be good or this could be really bad. Ugh, fuck. I don't know if this is really what I want, because these things are very slow. I think in game 1 I want a faster hand than that. This is actually much better. This is infinitely better. We're going to put a Vial on the bottom, and we're keeping the shit out of this. Go Spire Bluff, Vial, and then we have Bolt up next turn if we want. This is actually one of the things that I spent, like... I spent some time listening to negotiating tactics. Don't be so in love with what you have or what you want that you are afraid to, or that you would turn down something better. And I think that's something that's really an important lesson to learn. Like, especially like the more high variance these formats tend to be, like, you need to keep like good hands, not just like hands. Like, a very like medium to poorish hand is not going to be good enough. Okay, we're up against Bogles. Fuck. So these lightning bolts are not going to be terribly good here. So we're definitely playing Lord of Atlantis. You know, that is an important lesson though. Like, never be like afraid to, like, you know, that, yeah, just because you have something that's okay does not mean that you should turn down something that's better. And I think in a lot of those cases, like, mulliganing, even though it's scary, is actually a lot better than just keeping, like, a somewhat, like, borderland poor hand. So if they play the core Spirit Dancer, at least we can bolt that thing. Alright, well, that looks like that's not going to be the case. Bogles is not going to be an easy match for us. The good news is that we do have Cryptic Command in our deck, so... Alright, so they're going to try to race us. Cryptic can help us win this race, and actually Brazen Borrower is going to be helpful too. Well, that's beautiful. Okay, well, let's do this first. That will help us race them a lot better. And if they waste a turn attacking it, then that's just extra gravy for us. We're just hoping they don't play like Daybreak Coronet. Okay, that's not a good sign. If they are shocking themselves, that means they're going to play like a ton of enchantments. Alright, now we are fucked. We're getting attacked for 11 and yeah. It has Vigilance now as well, so fuck. Okay, so blocking is not an option. Okay, well, no. That's not going to do it. Guess draw and discard. That is also not going to do it. Alright, we lose. Fucking Bogles, man. Bogles is, yeah, like Lightning Bolt is absolutely piss poor in this match because we don't have anything that can really deal with them. Chalice, on the other hand, is actually very good, so we want that. We want Spreading Seas, and we actually probably want Force of Negation, and we do not want Lightning Bolt. Scion seems like this could be okay. I don't know if this is really the match where we want this card though. Cryptic is absolutely fantastic here. We need Force, I think. Seize is fine because it lets us attack unblockably. This lets us push through damage pretty well too. So I guess we have to cut 3 more cards. Brazen Borrower can bounce, it can potentially let us blow out the Daybreak Coronet. I think Silvergill's the one that's going to get bumped. I mean, there's also an argument that Cutthroat's the one that should. Actually, you know what? I think I do agree with that. I think Cutthroat might be the one. So we took out the bolts that really synergize well with it. I think here we just want to try to draw to our important hate cards more. So let's do that. We'll take out Cutthroat here. It's a lot worse without the bolts, and Bolt is just terrible in this match. This is not a good matchup for us, I don't think. This is kind of an okay hand. It's not particularly great, but we are going to Spreading Seas them on turn 2 to slow them down. I'm going to use Spreading Seas, and then hopefully that's going to be good enough. Yeah, they kept a 7 that had a Bogle in it, so it's definitely a good sign for them. We need... Okay, Force is a good draw. Okay, excellent. That's also helpful. So this Cutthroat might be the thing that's getting pitched to Force of Negation. Okay, sure. I think something like Rancor, we want to counter that. Because I really don't want this thing to have trampled like that. Alright, yeah, I think this is worth it. Chalice off the top would be excellent. Alright. Actually, this might be a good turn to play a Lord, because then if we draw a land next turn, we can play Silvergill plus a Lord. We want to be able to double spell, and I think holding Silvergill up for a turn gives us a better chance to do that. So they can't play Daybreak this turn, but they can still play like an Umbra and an Ethereal Armor. So, okay, Seal Primordium is sort of okay. They just, yeah, that's fine, I guess. They took out Seas, and so Hyena Umbra does first strike. We're still attacking for more than them. Alright, so let's Silvergill Adept and try to draw another island. Okay, that's gotta risk it to get the biscuit. Alright, so we gotta get this on board now, so then we'll take like a big hit from this thing, but then next turn we'll have Cryptic up, and then we can get a bunch of damage in. Yeah, so 4. Please don't play Daybreak Coronet. That's the really bad one. Fucking goddamn it, piece of shit, mother... I mean, yay! Magic cards. Nope. Is this a... They're at 22, so we probably just need to be chaining these together at this point. I cannot attack into this because they took away our Island Walk. Sure. He only has one card left in hand, so... Okay. It's all kind of meaningless because we're either going to... I guess maybe counter and tap would have been better. I don't know. Yeah, I actually think that I should have countered that. It doesn't have trample though, so we haven't actually lost yet. They don't have any cards in hand to give it trample either, so... But they're going to gain a shit ton of life. That's unfortunate. Okay. I want to probably be attacking with the Mutavault. So if we can find another cryptic command, we can come back, but otherwise we're not going to come back. Jesus Christ. Okay, so the problem is that I can either play Trickster or I can try to draw to something better, and I think I have to sacrifice an Islet to draw a card right now. Because like Spreading Seas would also be helpful. You know, we're throwing this one away too. Okay, so options are basically just we have to sacrifice something, so I guess Silvergill's getting sacrificed. I should have used the Mutavault to pay for that so I could play both of these. That's stupid. This is going to very quickly get out of hand. So we have 4, 5. Yeah, we... Alright, well... Which... I guess I'm playing the Lord and sacrificing the Silvergill Adept. No. What happens? If I play, like, Spreading Seas, I probably want to, like... I don't want to have to sacrifice the Lord. I'd rather sack the Trickster, so... We're blocking with the Silvergill this turn. Pass. Please draw a land so we have a chance. Because if it's a Rancor, we're dead. This is just so, like, far beyond the pale at this, like, I don't know how we, like, even do anything here. I'm assuming it has, like, Path to Exile in hand. I can't even begin to race this. Like, I can only attack back for 20 a turn. Like, at some point, he's going to gain so much life that it's meaningless, so... I guess he's debating whether he wants to use Path to Exile on one of these creatures or not, because if he paths the Trickster, then I have to block with the Lord. That's my assumption. That's useless. Pass turn, I guess. Like, we are so far, like, we are so dead. Like, it's not even funny. Bogles has just killed us. That is exactly what's happened. We had a chance. We had a chance, but it turns out Island Walk was way more important than we even thought at first. He's at 92. I don't know how I can possibly race this. Sure. They're just stockpiling cards in hand, which I assume are removal of some kind. So if it's land, that makes no sense not to play it. If it's a creature, it makes no sense not to play it. And if it's an enchantment, you may as well enchant something. Okay. It just makes it bigger. We just keep, like, finding tricksters to throw into this thing, but this is not a winning plan. All this does is just make sure that Spreading Seas is no longer an option. Alright, I'm fucking done with this. They're over 100 life, like, we're not gonna win this, so fuck it. Oh, well, that's Bogles. What do you want? So, I don't know, like, I don't really mind losing against Bogles. Like, that deck is already ridiculously hard to beat a lot of times. Yeah, it just... I don't think like we were gonna really win that one. The Bolt is just such a terrible main deck card to have against them, and yeah, no, it got to a point where there was way too much to commit. If we would have found like Seas or Cryptic like early enough, or even like had Chalice like early, like we had a chance, but no. And against like the what is it, the Death Shadow deck, like that's another match where it's like sometimes you can win that kind of easily, and then sometimes like they're just going to crush you like, you know, like a fucking car underneath the tires of a monster truck. It's ridiculous. That one can go either way though, so it is what it is. Like if those are not losses I particularly mind. We did beat Tron, we beat Amulet Titan, and then what the hell? Oh yeah, we beat that stupid Polymorph Combo deck. So honestly, all of those matches seem like they were actually pretty tough, and it really looked like Blood Moon probably would have been better in the sideboard than Spreading Seas, to be honest. I mean, they did have Seal of Primordium, so like they could try to play around it to some extent, and like even Tron, I'm sure had some answer to it in like Oblivion Stone, but I don't know. Maybe Blood Moon would be better in the sideboard instead of Spreading Seas. And I wish that that wasn't the case because I really don't want to have to play Blood Moons this weekend. But if I'm going to play this deck, that might just be the sacrifice that is necessary. So otherwise, like, this list seemed fine. We just playing against like a lot of combo-y and like, you know, it's like it's either like a very hard to deal with creature deck or it's like a really big mana kind of combo-y linear deck. So I don't know. I don't feel like there's a lot of fair decks in Modern that are doing well right now. I mean, Death Shadow is probably the closest thing to like a fair deck that I think would be good, but even that like straddles that line because their plan is to like attack you with a fucking like a 1 mana 10/10 that's gonna deal 20 damage to you on like turn 3 or 4. That's really stretching the limits of what I would call a fair deck, but sure. I mean, otherwise, like, without Team or Battle Rage, like, even then, like, Death Shadow is just a really weird card, and I don't know. Maybe this isn't the build that is good in this meta, but people were interested to see is it Merfolk in action, so I finally, like, you know, got all the stuff to play it. So I hope that everybody enjoyed this. Like, I don't know. I feel like it was at least worth trying. I don't regret having played it. I'm just unsure that this is necessarily the correct thing to be playing, that's all. Like, I really like Cryptic, but at the same time, it was pretty slow in a lot of cases. It was an out, for sure, but it's also, like, 4 mana, and this is a deck that really doesn't want to be, like, flooding out on lands, I guess, and that's not insignificant that, you know, we had to mulligan a hand that was just like all fiery islets because it was just going to kill us with damage like that. So, and we're also weaker against like decks like Tron in game 1 because now we don't have the Spreading Seas against them. So I don't know. Maybe like Simic is what we should be doing for this. I might try like Simic for the next league, but I don't know. Like I still think that there are meta games for this. Like, if there's, like, a lot of stuff like humans or elves or, you know, Vizier combo, then Lightning Bolt makes a lot more sense. I think that this deck is a lot better when there's, like, little creature decks around, but maybe it just seems like it's going to be hard for that to be the case because, like, Primeval Titan is going way over the top of them, and then even if there are, like, you know, yeah, if there are, like, other decks like, you know, Jund or whatnot, or even like, you know, the Shadow decks. Plague Engineer out of the sideboard is always an ever-present threat against them, so I don't know. Things would probably have to change for this to be like the go-to build, but at the same time, I don't think it was bad. I think it's definitely playable, so this will probably not be the last time that we see this list, but I have a feeling it's going to get shelved for a little while. Playing mono blue lets you play more tempo-y kind of and more controlling, and playing like Simic lets you play like a turn 4 clock a lot more consistently. So either way, I think one of those options is probably better. Otherwise, like the cards in the sideboard, I think are fine. I don't really want to change many of these. The only exceptions, like the Spreading Seas, probably go back into the main Or, well, if you're playing Simic, you might only play 2 Spreading Seas in the main deck and then play the other 2 here, so maybe this... The Force is probably going to the main deck for Simic, though, and then maybe these become Deprives afterwards. It's possible. Or maybe, like, Shaper Sanctuary. That's... I don't know. There is some options, but... anyway, that was our league, so we went 3-2, which is, I mean, that's... Again, not, like, a terrible result, but... It's not really like the soul-crushing, defeat of our opponent that we were looking for. So, alright, that's all I got for today. I hope everybody enjoyed this. And if you do, please give this video a like, and, if you enjoy watching me play blue decks in every format, subscribe. I really appreciate it when people do that. I read through all the comments, and I do try to interact with people if you have questions or anything. Or if you just want to like post memes in the comments, go for it. I'm all about that. So, in fact, if you want, follow me on Twitter because I like to post memes about stuff on there too, especially Magic related. So, all these links are in the description too. Yeah, and you know what? While I'm thinking about this stuff, go check out Ishton on Twitter because Ishton does like really incredible artwork, and a lot of them are Merfolks. But there's also a lot of other cool release stuff. Like I like the Rister skin Planeswalker that Ishton did. It's really adorable. Yeah, definitely. So shout out to Ishton. I really enjoy the art, and you should go check it out. And it's linked in the description because support your fellow content creators of all types. Everybody that like spends time doing this stuff. Give them a like, or just like, one positive message. Just tell them like, you're doing a great job. We love it. Because that's what really keeps like the stuff in the community going. Everyone, positive feedback is going to get you more of the content that you enjoy. So that's my request for today. Even if it's not like my stuff, if you don't like my stuff, that's fine. But go say something positive to the people who make content for free for you that you do like. So. Alright, thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you later this week. Alright.